people do sense that they could be cleverer, that there are bits of their brain they're not using fully. And this is something I discovered in my research for Escaping from Eden, that there are serious peer-reviewed neuroscientists around the world who have discovered this through studying acquired savant syndrome, where people suddenly have higher cognitive abilities knocked on by accident. A brain injury, a stroke, come back from a coma, suddenly they can speak a language they couldn't speak before, play an instrument they couldn't play before, have brilliant minds in mathematics or abstract physics. And these scientists are saying we all have these abilities in our brains in the off position. And they want to know, can we access them without the brain injury? And our ancestral traditions and initiation traditions say absolutely yes, we can. And we have protocols to do it. And that's why cultures all around the world have curated mystical and shamanic ceremonies, rituals, precisely designed to switch these abilities on. The idea that we can use our brains better, access more of what's in there, I think is actually very powerful, is ages old information, and is one of the exciting things about the journey of life, working out how awake can I get? Are there specifics to being more conscious? Is it possible that the flashes of precognition is something I can nurture? And our ancestors would say yes, yes, and yes. The new science would say the answer to that question is to do with the plasticity of the brain, that the brain can program and reprogram itself to do the things you want and need to do. But as even using that language, you realize that the paradigm here is that we use the brain. Okay, so we are not the brain. And so who's the we? Well, Plato says that the we is conscious beings, that we are conscious beings before we become material beings. So the conscious being is using the brain. Or you can come at it from another angle. People who've experienced out-of-body experiences, which is a fascinating field to study, have the experience where they can see the room in which they are, they can see their own body, they can see and hear what the doctors are saying if they're having this experience on the operating theatre, which is where so many OBs happen. And then they can move down the corridor and see what's happening around the corner. So they're seeing without eyes, they're hearing without ears. What are they thinking with? Are they thinking with the field? Is it consciousness downloading from the field? Is it still using the brain, or is it downloading directly? That whole paradigm of we use the brain and we are conscious beings, I think is very helpful. It's an idea that's repeated by cultures around the world, has been repeated through the ages. I love the way Plato expresses it. And I think I've spoken before about my gran and grand's TV that had a terrible signal because their house was in a valley. But if one of us stood next to it, the signal would go crystal clear, because our bodies are better antennae than the purpose-designed things on the roof. If we can do that with radio signals, then do we do that with consciousness as well? There's a wonderful word in Jesus's teaching, to take it back to him for a moment, which gets translated as repent. But the root meaning is far bigger than that. It means go beyond the mind, think with more than this. I think whatever brain you have, you want to use it. And whatever brain you have, you also want to key into the field, your higher self, your invisible team, to be as maximally conscious and intelligent as you can be. And this is why I want to spend even more time sitting at the feet of Indigenous elders and guardians of initiation ceremony, because I think there is a much longer knowledge and more developed understanding of how to master consciousness than ever you or I were taught in school.